Welcome to IAS project. In this video, let's talk about pre-Harappan culture. Before we go into the lecture, let me ask you a question. Consider the below sites belonging to Harappan civilization. 5 sites have been given here: Kot Diji, Sutkagendor, Banavali, Chanhudaro and Surkotda. The question is, which of the above sites are located in India? If you know the answer to this question, please answer in the comment section. We will be discussing the answer of this question at the end of this video. In our last video, we talked about how Harappan civilization can be divided into 3 parts or 3 phases. They are nothing but pre-Harappan phase, mature Harappan phase and the late Harappan phase. We have also discussed that both pre-Harappan as well as the late Harappan phases were Chalcolithic cultures. Only the mature Harappan phase is a Bronze Age culture. In this video, let's focus on pre-Harappan phase, which is also called as early Harappan culture. If we look at the timeline of early Harappan culture, it started somewhere around 3200 BCE and it lasted up to 2600 BCE. And we can see here that 2600 BCE is nothing but the start of mature Harappan phase. So pre-Harappan phase was simply the kind of Harappan culture that was existing before the start of mature Harappan phase. That is, before the start of Bronze Age culture of Harappa. So if we talk about pre-Harappan phase, it is basically a Chalcolithic culture. Chalcolithic means both copper as well as stone tools were being used during the pre-Harappan phase of Indus Civilization. So only the mature Harappan culture is a Bronze Age culture. Both pre-Harappan as well as late Harappan were Chalcolithic cultures. However, we can consider all these 3 cultures as a series of continuous cultures, because if we look at mature Harappan phase, many of the elements in mature Harappan phase actually came from pre-Harappan cultures. However, mature Harappan phase has also got some elements which are unique to mature Harappan culture. And these unique cultures did not exist in pre-Harappan phase. Because there is a large coincidence between the mature Harappan phase and pre-Harappan phase, we can call mature Harappan phase as a development over pre-Harappan phase. Similarly, when we discuss late Harappan phase, we will note that many of the elements of late Harappan phase actually come from mature Harappan phase. That is why we can consider all these 3 phases as a series of continuous cultures. However, at the same time, we must notice that there are certain elements which are unique to each culture. If we look at the geography of the area occupied by the Indus people, around 5000 years ago, actually the Indus region was having so many forests. Moreover, the Balochistan region today is a desert. But almost 5000 years ago, this region was not a desert. Balochistan was actually full of rivers. So because of these rivers, forests were also there. Because of these forests, what the people in these regions did was, they collected the wood and they used this wood as a fuel for smelting of copper. Moreover, these people also cleared these forests so that they could practice agriculture. So whenever we talk about Harappan culture, you must have this kind of geography in mind. Similarly, it also applies for Thar desert also. Today, Thar desert is a sandy desert. However, during that time, Thar desert was not completely a desert. Many rivers were flowing in this area. Similarly, in the Balochistan region also, today it is a desert. But almost 5000 years ago, that is during the time of pre-Harappan phase, this region was not a desert. There were many rivers, and because of the rivers, there were forests. And because of these forests, people were easily able to get wood for smelting of copper. Moreover, they also cleared these forests so that they can practice agriculture. So basically, having river as well as forests in these areas contributed to development of villages in these areas. We should also note one more important thing. Whenever we say pre-Harappan culture, it is not actually a single culture, but it was a network of cultures. So there were so many cultures which were very different in certain aspects. For example, they had different kind of pottery. They had different kind of burial practices. In some of these cultures, people were cremating their dead. Cremation simply means burning of dead body. In some other cultures, they were burying the dead. And in other cultures, people were practicing what is called as a fractional cremation or fractional burial. What fractional burial means is, initially, the body is exposed to the environment, or it is sometimes burned, and after burning, whatever is the remaining is there. For example, let's say bones. Those bones are buried. So this is called as fractional burial. So basically, pre-Harappan culture is not a single or unique culture, but it is basically a network of many cultures. We will see some of these cultures towards the end of this video. And all these cultures can be called as pre-Harappan culture. So pre-Harappan culture is not a single entity, but it is a network of cultures. And pre-Harappan culture is also called as early Harappan culture because it happened before the mature phase of Harappan culture. If we talk about the geography where pre-Harappan culture actually started, then it basically developed away from the Indus plains, which means that generally it did not develop in Indus plains. In case of India, pre-Harappan cultures mainly belong to Hakra phase of settlements. Example, we have sites like Kunal, Bhirana and Rakigadi in Haryana. All these sites actually belong to Hakra phase of settlements. Hakra phase of settlements are actually 6,000 years old. And these people made settlements near Ghaggar-Hakra river. So therefore, the Hakra phase actually comes from the name of the river Hakra. Moreover, in India, whatever the Hakra phase of settlements were there, these people made a similar kind of pottery which is called as Hakra ware. Ware simply means pottery. So it can also be called as Hakra pottery. So in the case of India, pre-Harappan culture is mainly associated with Hakra phase of settlements in which some of the sites are almost 6,000 years old. Examples of these sites are Kunal village in Haryana, Bhirana and Rakigadi, which are also in Haryana. We know that Rakigadi is actually the largest Harappan site we know so far. Rakigadi is even larger than Mohenjo-daro. If we talk about Pakistan, then pre-Harappan culture in Pakistan mainly developed around hilly areas as well as river valleys of eastern Balochistan. Balochistan we know is a province in Pakistan. Examples of pre-Harappan culture sites in Pakistan are Mehergarh, Kot Diji and Amri. So we said that Harappan culture is not a single culture, but it is a network of cultures. So what were all those cultures which are included in Harappan culture? These cultures are nothing but, if we talk about India, then Hakra-ware culture or Hakra phase of settlements is a part of pre-Harappan culture. And Hakra-ware culture is mainly located in Haryana. We also have Soti-Siswal culture. Soti is located in Rajasthan and Siswal is located in Haryana. So Soti-Siswal culture is also a part of pre-Harappan culture. We also have Ganeshwar culture, which is also a part of pre-Harappan culture. Ganeshwar is actually located near Khetri copper mines in Rajasthan. In mature Harappan phase, we will learn that Ganeshwar people got the copper ore from Khetri copper mines and they traded this copper ore with Harappa city. So Ganeshwar culture is basically an important source of copper ore for Harappan cities. If we talk about pre-Harappan cultures in Pakistan, then we have Kot Diji culture, Amri Nal culture and Dam Sadat culture. So these are all the cultures that are included in pre-Harappan cultures. All these cultures in one way or another contributed to the development of mature Harappan culture. Let's talk about the features of pre-Harappan culture. All these pre-Harappan cultures are basically Chalcolithic cultures. Moreover, all these were rural cultures or village cultures. They were not urban and they were not bronze. So all the pre-Harappan cultures are basically Chalcolithic, rural or village cultures. However, we have found some bronze tools and bronze implements from sites of pre-Harappan cultures also. Because we know that the definition of Chalcolithic culture was, in Chalcolithic culture, copper tools were used on a large scale alongside stone tools. It does not mean that bronze tools were not used. So please remember, in any Chalcolithic culture, it is totally possible that bronze tools were used. So here also, pre-Harappan culture is a Chalcolithic culture, but some bronze tools were used in these cultures also. So pre-Harappan cultures did not have any cities. Moreover, most people of these pre-Harappan cultures were actually involved in agriculture. That is why we call these cultures as rural cultures or village cultures. Because in order to call any culture as urban culture, those people must live in cities and those people must practice important occupations other than agriculture. But this was not the case in pre-Harappan culture. Pre-Harappan culture people were not living in cities, they were living in villages. Moreover, those people were mainly involved in agriculture. Pre-Harappan culture people mainly built stone houses. They did not use baked bricks. They used basically mud brick and stone to build walls, and then they made thatched roofs on these walls. Thatched roof is basically a roof which is made of grass, or let's say straw, or branches of plants. So if you use all these materials in building a roof, then such kind of roof is called as a thatched roof. So pre-Harappan people did not have knowledge of burnt brick. That is why they built stone houses and mud brick houses, and the roofs in these houses were mainly thatched roofs. However, they had high level of expertise in making certain crafts. For example, they were experts at stoneworking, bead making, and metal crafting. However, even though these people were very good at all these artistic works, their skills were still inferior if we compare them to mature Harappan phase. So expertise in making crafts and artistic works was entirely on a different level in mature Harappan culture. It was very much superior if we compare it to pre-Harappan culture. Pre-Harappan culture people also knew the art of copper smelting. That is why the age was Chalcolithic age, because they used wide variety of copper tools and copper implements. These people did not have the knowledge of writing. So we can say that script was not developed during pre-Harappan culture period. In our Neolithic video, we have learnt that wheel was not used for transportation in Neolithic age. However, during the pre-Harappan culture, which is basically a Chalcolithic culture, wheel was invented for transportation purpose also. We already know that potter's wheel was invented during Neolithic age, and wheel thrown pottery was made using this potter's wheel. And pre-Harappan people also used potter's wheel to make wheel thrown pottery. But the most important development was that pre-Harappan people also used wheels for transportation. So basically they had bullock carts. People of these pre-Harappan cultures traded with other villages as well as traded with Mesopotamia. What did these people trade? They traded metal ores, that is mainly copper ore. They also traded their agriculture produce, wheat, barley, and other food grains. They traded pottery. They also traded stone and copper implements. Trade between some of the pre-Harappan cultures of Balochistan and Mesopotamia was mainly through sea route, probably because their land-based transportation was not very much developed. And Balochistan is basically hilly area. So land-based trade would of course be hard compared to sea trade. So pre-Harappan people of Balochistan conducted sea trade with Mesopotamia. So for this purpose, they built ships. They also had the knowledge of navigation. If we talk about examples of some of the pre-Harappan sites, in Haryana, we have Kunal and Birana. In Gujarat, we have Dholavira. In Rajasthan, we have Kalibangan. In Pakistan, we have Mehergarh, Amri, Kot Diji, Gumla and Balakot. This Balakot is not the Balakot where Indian Air Force has conducted airstrikes. This Balakot is actually present in the southern part of Pakistan. And the Balakot where Indian Air Force had conducted airstrike is actually present in northern area of Pakistan. So let's look at some of the centers of pre-Harappan cultures. You can see the locations of some pre-Harappan cultures here. The first one is Amri Null culture. This area is basically Amri culture and this area is basically Null culture. Then we have Kot Diji culture, which is located over here. Dam Sadat culture is located near Quetta Valley over here. Mehergarh is actually very close to Dam Sadat. So these three are basically located in Pakistan. If we talk about India, then we have Soti Siswal culture and we also have Hakraware sites. This is the location of Hakraware culture. You can see the outline in black color. Examples of some of the Hakraware sites in India are Kunal village, Birana village, Parmana, Girwad and Rakhigadi. Rakhigadi is basically the largest Harappan site. Kunal village and Birana are actually the oldest Harappan sites. Before we knew about Kunal village and Birana in Haryana, Mehergarh was actually thought to be the oldest Indus civilization site. That is why in many books even today you will find that Mehergarh was the oldest Harappan site. However, this is not true anymore. It is actually Kunal village as well as Bhirana, which are the oldest Indus civilization sites. These are almost 8,000 to 9,000 years old. If we talk about Soti Siswal culture, you can see this over here. The area which is hatched in red color. Soti is located in Rajasthan and Siswal is located in Haryana. Soti Siswal culture basically developed along the river Ghaggar and Hakra. You can see Ghaggar Hakra river here, which is shown in blue color dashed lines. Why did I show blue color dashed lines is because today Ghaggar Hakra river is not a significant river anymore. Whenever there are rains, there is some water in this, but otherwise there is not much water here. And Hakra river is practically invisible today. But during the pre-Harappan period, that means about 5,000 years ago, Ghaggar Hakra river system was very full of water. That is why this was very important river for the people living in Soti Siswal culture. But today, Ghaggar Hakra river system is practically insignificant, and moreover, it is a seasonal river, which means that whenever there are rains, there will be water. Otherwise, it would be dried up. So almost 5,000 years ago, Ghaggar Hakra river was a large river. At that time, it was actually a tributary of Sutlej river. But today, it is basically dried up and it is a seasonal river. Hakra river today actually drains into Thar desert. We have references to Ghaggar Hakra river system in Vedas also. In Vedas, Hakra river or Ghaggar Hakra river is actually called as Saraswati river. These type of questions can be asked in prelims. Let's look at some of the important pre-Harappan sites on the map. First, let's talk about sites in India. We have Banavali, Rakhigadi, Birana and Kunal village in Haryana. You can see Kunal village, Birana and Banavali, all three are located very close to each other. They are actually present in the western part of Haryana. Then we have Kalibangan and Ganeshwar, which are both located in Rajasthan. You can see Kalibangan here. Then we have Dholavira, which is located in Gujarat. You can see Dholavira over here. If we talk about pre-Harappan sites in Pakistan, Mehergarh is probably the oldest pre-Harappan site in Pakistan. Mehergarh is located in the northern part of Balochistan over here. Then we have Nal and Amri villages, which are located over here. Then we have Kot Diji, which you can see over here. It is very close to Indian border. We also have Dam Sadat, which is located close to Quetta here. The last site is Balakot, which is located towards the south of Pakistan. So all these are some of the important pre-Harappan sites. This is the question that I asked you in the beginning of this video. Consider the below sites belonging to Harappan civilization. The question is, which of the above sites are located in India? So let's see one by one. Kot Diji is located in Pakistan. Sutka Gendor, we know that this is the westernmost site of Indus civilization. So this is also located in Pakistan. So this is wrong. Banavali is correct because Banavali is located in Haryana. Chanhu Daro is also false because it is located in Pakistan. Surkotda is correct because this is located in Gujarat. So the correct answer would be 3 and 5 only. Option C is correct. Please note here that we did not study about Chanhu Daro and Surkotada yet because both these are mature Harappan sites. So this video finishes the part of pre-Harappan culture. In next video, we will talk about mature Harappan culture. If you like this video, please subscribe. You can download this presentation on our Telegram channel, which is IAS Project. The link for this is given in the description below. Thank you.